Howdy folks, welcome to the channel Rockin' the Country. I'm Don. This is a new introduction for this video because I did the reaction to this song and I had attributed it to Kyle Perkins making the gift, and it was Roger Smith who had made the gift. Because what you did not see, and this is the joy of editing, is I had a humongous sneezing attack right before I was going to go on and do the recording. You might even hear it a little bit in my voice right now. And my sisters and I used to make fun of our father when we were little because he wouldn't just sneeze once. He would sneeze a whole bunch of times, and we'd make fun of him. We thought it was so funny when we were little. And then I'd say when I got like into my 20s, when I would sneeze, I wouldn't sneeze once. I started getting them. So I would sneeze like 8 or 10 times. And so you don't need to know all this. This might be TMI. But before I got on set, the first 2 or 3 sneezes feel really good. But by the time you get to the 6th one, it starts to hurt. And by the time you get there. But anyway, I had in my brain, from the time I turned the camera on to sitting down, I had this sneezing attack, and then I just edited that out, and then I attributed it to Kyle. So anyway, my apologies to Roger and Kyle, but Roger Smith is the one who found George Molton and this song 7 verse Gosdins ago. So I'm going to leave the reaction as it was. I'm just going to edit out the part where I attributed it to Kyle and give it to Roger. And Roger, give me another song too. I want to do a second song just as sort of like a penance or my form of repentance for this faux pas. And hopefully my voice, well, might still sound a little bit like Barry White, because even after the video was done, I started sneezing again. So what can I say? That's life. Every so often you gotta sneeze. So, all right. I'm with the original reaction that I'm going to post, okay? Thank you, Roger, for this gift and request. A formal thank you. And email me at rockinthecountry@gmail.com, and I will do a second song, whatever. It doesn't have to be George Molton. It could be anybody, but I'm going to do another one in your honor as well. Maybe it'll be a Jason Eady song. Maybe it'll be a Courtney Patton song. Maybe it'll be some other artist that I've never heard of. So there you go. Hey guys, welcome to the channel Rockin' the Country. I'm Don. Oh wait, let's see how this goes. Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Trying to go for my Barry White voice. George Molton, 7 Vern Gosdins ago. Is like Vern Gosdin a drink or something like that? Or 7 Vern Gosdin songs ago? This has to be a dude that's bumming about something. I don't think I've reacted to George Molton before. So let's see what George has regarding 7 Vern Gosdins.
I came here thinking I'd have one drink and catch the last half of the game.
Alright, he ran into
Talk
her.
to some old friends, find out how they've been, not even mention your name. My plan was working, I finally stopped hurting, just when I thought I'd survive. Some fool in the corner, armed with his quarters, brought that old jukebox to life. I was doing just fine, you were out of my mind, I had it under control. Oh, but that was 3 George Jones, 1 heartfelt Doug Stone, and 7 Vern Gosdins ago.
He's good.
Now I don't know what happened, how I went from laughing to drowning in my broken heart. Hitting the liquor, kissing your picture, to the shock of the boys at the bar. Now I'm out on this dance floor, and I don't know what for, waltzing around like a fool.
That's what you feel like.
Thinking you missed me, that you're here with me, control. Oh, but that was 3 George Jones, 1 heartfelt Doug Stone, and 7 Vern Gosdins ago.
I like that adjective, 1 heartfelt Doug Stones ago. Heartfelt, right? Not just Doug Stone, heartfelt. Interesting. Everybody knows George Jones. And, of course, everybody knows Vern, the voice Gosdin. Country music fans, traditional country fans. All right, people who are into like the nouveau country fans, the Nashville stuff, they won't know who these folks are. They'd have heard of George Jones, but they wouldn't know Vern Gosdin. Like if I told my sisters, Vern, you got to listen to Vern Gosdin, they'd be like, who's that? Because they're in the Nashville country. And there's some really good Nashville, like you consider Zach Brown Band and so on, and they're really good. I've seen them twice, love their stuff. But if I were to mention, oh, you got to check out George Jones, they'd be like, yeah, I don't know. Like, you have to. That's country. This is country. This dude, I don't know. Has anybody requested George Molton before? Because this is legit.
Just fine, you were out of my mind. I had it under control, but that was 3 George Jones, 1 heartfelt Doug Stone, 7 Vern Gosdins ago. Hey, you play what you play, but you'll have to just wait. I've got 7 Vern Gosdins to go.
That is fast. I wonder too, because like in the songwriting process, you've heard me say this in other songs in relation to all sorts of topics. What gets left on the cutting room floor? How did he select Vern Gosdin? Not Hank Sr. He went with Vern. Of course, George Jones, that's an easy one. You could put George Jones's name into any song and it'd be like, oh yeah, it makes complete sense. Doug Stone, I liked it, but the instrumentation on this, the backing, they had female backing on this, just way in the background, but it sort of adds that sense of kind of unity, like, oh yeah, he's really feeling this, but from the feminine perspective too. And there's a whole lot of subtext that goes on with when to bring in other vocalists and how to bring them in and who they are, male, female, all that. But he went with Vern, and you can't argue with that. Who understands country music is going to say, why'd you bring in Vern? You'd be like, dude, you need to leave the room now for saying something that stupid. But this was as legit as it gets. I don't know where George is in his career and what his deal is. I mean, hopefully he's new, relatively new on the country scene because he'll have a long career. I know folks are hoping Mo Pitney will put out a lot more traditional country music and not go in the commercial direction. Although you want commercial success for somebody because you want their music to become popular, but not because it's a copycat of pop country, but because people appreciate who they are as a country artist telling a story and with more traditional country elements in their music. But I love the concept. I nailed it in the beginning. It wasn't a drink, but it was a song. There's only so many directions you could go in with a title like this. So, the songwriter lived this, by the way, because it was way too real, those nuances of when you go out, you feel like a fifth wheel. You're no longer with the other person. Your friends would be in the habit of saying, how's your wife doing? How's your husband doing? Depending on whether you're with the girls or guys. But they'd be like, but now they don't ask. Now they don't ask. And you don't want them to ask. You don't want them to bring it up. But part of you wants to talk about it because part of you still, in this case, he still wanted her. He missed her. He was crying over her picture throughout the night. Then he'd go back to hanging with the fellas. Then the music. And then he was still thinking of her. He didn't want to. And I really like the way that line was worded, where it said, "You're out of my mind." Because normally we'll talk about it as, "Oh man, I was out of my mind," or "I lost my mind." Like that expression that we use, colloquial expression, a lot of us use, "Man, I lost my mind. I did whatever," or "I'm out of my mind." But "you're out of my mind." And that has a different connotation, but it's a takeoff on it sort of imports some of the sense of being out of your mind. Like he's I've never heard a song titled "I'm Out of My Heart," and maybe that would be too pithy, but it's kind of like where he's at. His heart has just been drained, been run dry. I am gonna rate this song. It was really well done, and like really well done. The number that popped into my mind was a 9.3. It was, I mean, and anytime you bring in some of the other artists, you run the risk of trying to be like a copycat or jumpstart by name dropping and stuff like that. But no, this was legitimate because he was in a bar and some guy armed with a quarter. I love that line. I'm glad I remember to say that because when he said it, I'm like, oh, that's good. Armed with a quarter. Something's coming at you when you use that verbiage. So, all right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll probably be getting to more George in due course. All right, guys. Have a great day. See you on another video and keep rocking the country.